Hi everyone, I'm Roshni and welcome to another episode of ParentTown TV. Today we're going to be talking about something very interesting. It's called respectful parenting. We're going to be going through some of the underlying philosophies behind this new parenting style. And we have Kasia with us as well as Shumei from Chapter 0. And they're going to answer some of your questions that you've been sending us on the ParentTown app. And so I'm going to get into just the basics here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you both moms? How did you get into respectful parenting? What is respectful parenting? But let's go into, are you both moms?
Yes, we are. We are both moms of toddlers.
And moms to be.
And moms to be, again, yeah. We both have toddlers, approaching 2 years. So we met when our children were very little. And that's how Chapter 0 started. We bonded over this idea of respectful parenting, and we wanted to tell more people about it. So that's the beginning of Chapter 0, and now we are just trying to spread the word.
So both of you have toddlers?
Correct.
Yeah, both of us have toddlers.
Okay. And you've done respectful parenting from day one?
No, I started around maybe third or fourth month. Yeah, before that I was trying a bunch of different things, which we can go into later.
Okay.
which I don't recommend.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and Kasia started from the start.
Well, I think in the first month, more or less, when I still had time to kind of read things. So pretty early on. So it kind of clicked for me, and I never looked back.
And tell us about the name, Chapter 0.
Oh, okay. So it's just about.
Took us like half a year to come
Yeah,
up with it.
It's a pretty brilliant name.
It is, right? I like it because we wanted something to do with everything that happened after the birth. We were both very prepared with our pregnancies and planning for the birth, that we were like, there's not much in Singapore to prepare parents for after the birth, especially in the initial years, which are really crucial. Right, so we thought, well, we need to have the 0 in there, and then I was obsessed with 0.
Yeah. We thought a lot of times parents kind of wait for children to, start walking or talking to kind of interact with them in a more meaningful way. So we thought, actually respectful parenting, what we want to promote is, from day one, from 0, from the beginning is when you really should be doing it.
Yeah, talking to your child like a child's someone else, right? Instead of just treating a baby like a baby.
Like a doll.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. We'll get into the basic principles of respectful parenting, but the first time I ever came across the term, I just thought, does it mean like respecting your parents, or
right.
So I'm guessing I'm all wrong here. So
right, and that's the thing with respect. I think people only see respect as like respecting your elders, but really like we should be respecting both ways, right? So
but isn't respect something that in Asia here we believe it's something that's earned,
right?
And with the child, if you just automatically give respect, then it's like sort of handing them something on a silver platter.
But respect begets respect. Do you respect anybody who doesn't respect you? Right. So I think it's that basis that we think, well, children will respect us if we show them from the beginning, if we model good behavior from the beginning, if we say our thank yous and our sorries, and we are genuine about it, then we don't ever have to force them. They see that this is it. This is the real, authentic way of communicating with people.
Interesting. So let's get into the basics of respectful parenting.
Yeah.
So what exactly is it, and what are some of the fundamental theories about respectful parenting?
Okay, so some of the basic principles are trusting in your child, so trusting that they will show you the way. Sensitive observation, so paying attention to your child, not to what the books are saying all children should be doing or are doing. What is your particular baby doing now? Freedom of movement, which is very important, and we feel like at times it kind of gets really sidelined, but for small babies, movement is learning, and learning is movement. So movement is important, and being able to move freely, not being contained or restricted all the time is crucial. Freedom to explore, so being able to follow that urge to go and check out things, and they love it, right? This is what babies do. Consistency, as a parent, we need to it's good to kind of always not do the same, but if your child knows what to expect in terms of routine and in terms of your behavior and your expectations, it's kind of easier for them to adapt. They can relax. They know what's coming. So these are, all of this it could take us like 3 hours to discuss, each of the principles is very high level, but
okay. Maybe we can just zoom in on freedom to move. Well, what does that mean? I don't think any of us go and strap on things onto our child and position them in one place. So
right, but if you think about it, right, babies today are often in like devices, then walkers and jumperoos and carriers and a lot of things for long periods of time. So these items by itself for short periods of time are okay. But when it happens for long periods of time, it's a problem. So freedom of move, okay, I'm just gonna use a baby doll to demonstrate, means that a baby can move both ways and any way he or she moves until, so for instance, for sitting, the baby will sit up when she's ready or he's ready. A lot of times what we do is we think, okay, 6 months a baby should sit up, so then we this baby won't sit. But at 6 months we're like, okay, you're going to be in sitting position. And what happens then, baby spends a lot of time trying to figure out the sitting position, and the baby's not actually developmentally ready to be set up. When actually babies who are set up naturally, when they sit up naturally, a lot of them do it after 8 months. And with like walking, with walking, actually, like we never walked our children. They learn to walk by themselves, and both really early, under age 1, like around 10 to 11 months. And we never walked our children. Our children were always crawling. We never helped them up to walk, and that's one of it as well. Not helping them achieve something that they cannot achieve by themselves. So when we see a lot of that, right? The walking of children, So we believe that really kind of develops that self-confidence because children do it themselves. And when children do it themselves, then it also helps with falling. They're a lot more careful. They know how to navigate stairs.
But what about the cases so here we're assuming that the child has this innate ability to do it, but in adults, we can see that some adults are just not motivated or they're inherently lazier. So how do you avoid that in a child?
So I think a child can be conditioned to want to be walked or want to be like something to be done to it, but that conditioning comes from the parent. But I think most children, say barring those with like developmental issues or medical issues, they should be able to achieve these milestones by themselves.
Okay, so it's about not pushing them
before they're ready.
And so that means a parent has to spend a lot of time observing. And what about, working parents or parents who are not able to be there with their child most of the time?
Okay, so actually it's not so much about the quantity as it is about quality. So there's this concept that we practice ourselves and we always talk about is the wants nothing quality time. It's the time that it can be even 30 minutes a day with your child where all you do is you are there, present. You're not on your phone, you are not reading a book, or you're not cooking. You just give that time to your child, your attention, and you just let them take the lead. And obviously it will look different when it's a 6-month-old baby who is just chewing on toys, and it's different for a 2-year-old toddler who will be able to tell you, like, I want to play ball or I want to go somewhere. But you basically don't want anything. There's no agenda. You're not planning like, okay, we're going to learn letters, or we're going to learn colors, or we're going to go there. You just kind of, you just take a step back and you let your child take a lead. And that's really powerful because this is an amazing gift you can give your child, your attention and your time. And you're just fully there.
Present.
Present. It's really wonderful. And the things that you can see that your child can do, when you're really paying attention, when you're really observing and you're not thinking like, oh, we should be doing this, or, we stuck it like this, or these are the colors. And when you just let go of all the expectations and you let them show you what they're interested in, this is really fascinating.
And we've worked with so many, for working parents, we've worked with so many helpers and grandparents now who have come on board and, who recognize that maybe the way they've done things before are different, but they're, happy to embrace something new and try it.
So it seems like it's the complete opposite of helicopter parenting.
Yeah, right, So I like to say it's a bit like hummingbird parenting, where like you're close by and you're always watching your child, but you only zoom in when you need to help your child. So there's that partnership involved, because it's not neglectful either. It's not like, okay, you go off and play and you go off and do your own thing and figure it out, and I'm just gonna be by myself reading a book.
And reading my magazine.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
So in fact, it feels like it also takes in a little more effort though.
Yeah.
You can't get too involved.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of parents, I'm sure that's, so even if they bought into the whole theory and they want to try it, it's, inherently as a parent, you just want to go there and fix it or make it better or make it easier.
Yeah.
So how do you stop yourself?
You sit on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, genuinely, like I have done this a few times. I think it takes practice. I think the more you do it, the more you can really see, you start seeing those small little things that your child is doing. Or if you are really not interfering and letting them figure out, you see the joy in their eyes when they like stand up, or they, figure out how to fit this into this. It's really...
It's the trust.
Yeah, you just need to kind of think long term. It's a long term game. So over time, you start seeing the results, and then it's self-perpetuating. So you kind of really want to do it because you can see the benefits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you that a lot of times people think that it's like lazy parenting, but actually I think it's the exact opposite. I think it requires much more focus and kind of intention.
And just awareness of yourself, awareness of your child, awareness of yourself. And what you pointed out, right? That's really awareness of yourself, figuring out your own feelings and your issues and how that affects your parenting.
So Shumei, you're Asian. So how do your parents? How did your parents feel about this? Because I can imagine, for myself, telling my mom this should just completely flip out.
I mean, so my mom's passed away. So my dad, he, as a child, I actually played a lot outside. So I was one of the few children that were just left to kind of play. And so when it comes to playing, I think we're perfectly on board. But however, I was disciplined in kind of traditional kind of corporal punishment kind of way. So we've obviously moved away from that. And I haven't really gone into explanations as to why we've moved away from that. But I think they are seeing that. My dad rather is seeing that whatever we're doing works. Yeah. So
do you have any advice for parents who want to try this, but then they have slightly more traditional parents who believe in corporal punishment, or they believe in instructional parenting?
Yeah.
Do you have advice for those moms how to deal with that?
I think I don't think the way our parents parented was like necessarily wrong. They just did what they knew, and now we know better. There's a lot of research and evidence out there which can inform our decision as to how we parent. I think we still need to trust our gut and trust ourselves and be confident in how we parent. But there is a lot of research there about corporal punishment. So I would encourage parents to look at the research, read up about it, and then make those informed choices. And the best thing that they can do is model good behavior and set boundaries, and then hopefully their parents will see that, hey, this is working.
So basically just do it and let them see evidence itself that it's worked.
Yeah.
Great advice. Okay, now we're going to get to the moms and we're going to see what they say. So we've got a mom asking, I'm getting really curious about respectful parenting. My husband has that kind of thinking when it comes to raising our kids, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't know it's a thing. Is it really effective? So can you just stumble into respectful parenting?
Okay, so I'll just cite an anecdote that happened. So for one of our nanny classes, one of the things we do in the practical is just go through routine care together. And so I wanted to show the helpers, this is how we do a diaper change respectfully. We talk the baby through it. We ask for the baby's cooperation. So I was changing a 4-month-old baby's diaper for the first time. I never met this baby before, and I asked the baby, I said, baby, will you please lift up your legs? And the baby's legs shot up, and all the helpers were just stunned immediately because they didn't believe that a child that young, basically still newborn, could respond that way. Yeah,
I know. My jaw is dropped.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's all about just doing speaking to your child as if he or she.
You're invited home every weekend.
Yeah.
we run a group on Facebook, right? And we have a lot of parents who, a lot of Singaporean, I mean, it's a mix, right? But there's a lot of Singaporean parents there who kind of join and, I'm interested and I want to know more and I want to try it out. And we see them like a few months later, like coming back to the group and saying, hey, so this happened, it really works and it's amazing. So it's like, it's a constant story in our group, I mean, of course we all have struggles, but there are so many success stories of people saying, I talked to my toddler, or we tried this and it worked. I mean, we definitely believe it's working, and there are so many parents who come to our classes, and even grandparents who are sometimes yeah, maybe. So for some men, I think it's that some men actually kind of get it intuitively, like, oh, what is the name for it? I'm just doing it. My husband's the same.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, respectful parenting says that babies just cry from stress and don't need to be actively soothed, just comforted. But this does not go in line with medical advice that in the 4th trimester, babies need to be held close and soothed and be stuck to parents as much as possible. So, which is right.
So okay, firstly, what the lady said is not entirely correct. Babies cry for all sorts of reasons, just like adults, but more. So babies might cry because they're hungry or they're tired, because it's hot, because it's cold, wet diaper, soiled diaper, uncomfortable, who knows, many reasons, right? And the trick about this is just that it's not about just fixing the problem by stopping the cry. It's about figuring out, well, why is this baby crying? Yeah, and sometimes that requires waiting before, say, we instantly start rocking the baby. We say, okay, why? And we might even talk to the baby. I'm trying to figure out why you're crying. Could it be that you're hungry? Could it be you're tired? And then it's that relationship and that conversation, and we find out why, and then we fix, rather than jumping in and fixing. And then that could even become a habit in itself. Yeah, because crying itself is not a bad thing, right? Crying is just baby's way of communicating.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have, what should you do when your toddler is hitting you and doesn't seem to want to stop?
It's important to acknowledge that they are angry about something. So acknowledging feelings is always important. We always say all feelings are okay, not all actions are okay. So you can tell your child, I can see you're upset. I can't let you hit me, and physically stop them. So for toddlers, just talking about things is not enough. You really have to follow it up with an action. So whatever it is, the child is hitting you, or the child is climbing a table, or the child is, I don't know, doing whatever you don't want them to do, just telling them to stop is not going to be enough. You really have to actually, I don't mean physically yank them, but stop them, from hitting. And I say, I can see you're upset. I can't let you hit me. You can hit this pillow, so you can offer an alternative, for example. So yeah. It's really, they have some big emotions. They need to let it out. So you need to find a way to kind of channel it into something that is not that is acceptable, right? That's not destructive or not harmful to another person.
And you might even say, I want you to touch gently, and then you can model it. And this is how you touch gently. And you show it in your face, or show it on a doll, or something, whatever, a doll, whatever.
Theoretically, it sounds so easy and possible, but yeah. I'm guessing reality is not always this easy.
I think you just have to follow through, and being consistent really helps. So, for instance, if today you do it, tomorrow don't, and then the child's getting mixed messages. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. But if you follow through repeatedly, because my daughter was really into biting from about 2 months ago, and recently it's just kind of tapered down. But it's only after weeks of stopping and redirecting.
Okay.
And also finding out the triggers. Sometimes toddlers hit and bite and do these things because they're very hungry, they're very tired, they've had enough, it's too much.
So would you say that respectful parenting is actually just better for more calm-tempered individuals?
I think it's actually excellent for those children who have very strong personalities, because it kind of helps the parent. You always need to. Another thing, that's not, for example, you can think of it, the child is not trying to give you a hard time, they are having a hard time. Their brains are not yet as developed as ours, they can't control themselves. It's really, it has helped me a lot of times, and I find it's very poignant, is really what it is. So if you just, when it happens and your toddler is giving you a hard time, if you think of it, he can't handle it, or she really doesn't have the capacity to control herself, then it will be easier for you to help them. They need our help. They can't, they need to learn the self-control. All of this are skills that they're not born with. I do not think that respectful parenting is just for peaceful children. I think children and all children go through different phases, especially when there's, for example, a new sibling. It's very common for the older child to start acting out and to be more aggressive or more clingy, and these are all perfect situations to try use these skills.
Okay. We've got our last question here before we close out. How do I balance between respecting my child and not spoiling him or letting him think that he can get his way all the time?
So respectful parenting is not permissive parenting. We spoke about boundaries before. Yes, we're not we're not advocating for punishment or corporal punishment or any of those things. So we are, in a sense, gentler, but boundaries still have to be in place. So we always say we have 3 very basic rules. You cannot hurt yourself, you cannot hurt the environment, and you cannot hurt somebody else. So these 3 rules are always in place. And then beyond that, as parents, you may have certain expectations, such as you can't walk around the house and eat. That will be one appropriate for toddlers, and I can't let you draw on the walls, for instance. I can't let you tear books. Well, that goes back to the environment. But a lot of rules will stem from these 3 rules. So just about setting these boundaries consistently, I think, will help. I think being permissive is of no use. A child doesn't learn boundaries. After all, the child needs to survive in society, right? Yeah, so you want to raise children that will be successful in society, not a child that's going to be considered a brat.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. Do you have any final words of advice for our parents?
I think one thing we didn't talk about was self-care. So it's important when you're a parent to remember that parenting is not just about children, it's about you as well. So be kind to yourself. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We are learning as we go. Take time for yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. Eat well. Take a break. Go for a walk. All of these things are important. You need to be charged. Your batteries need to be charged if you are to be there for your child.
And to find out more about respectful parenting, you can join our Facebook group Respectful/Mindful Parenting Singapore, or our Facebook group Chapter 0 Singapore.
Thank you very much again, and thank you for tuning in. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.